Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. As you can tell by the title, we are going to be discussing immigration today. Now this is a very complex topic. If you pay attention at all to politics, even if you're not watching the news every single day, if you pay attention at all, this is probably a topic that you've heard a lot of people talk about. It's been a very big topic for the last several years, especially since former President Trump. That was one of the big topics that he was going to be addressing during his presidency. That was the whole idea behind the wall that sparked a lot of debates. And even now, a lot of people consider us to be currently facing a crisis with the number of border crossings that we're experiencing, the number of people coming to our border trying to get in. And so this is a very complex topic. And I want to start off by saying that I don't have a solution to this. If you have listened to different people on both sides talk about it, there's different solutions that people have, whether it be limiting how many people we allow in, whether it be going into those countries that people are coming from to try and resolve those issues. I mean, changing the system so that it's easier for people coming in to integrate into our country. I mean, people have all different ideas of how to address this issue, and I'm just going to say flat out, I don't have a solution. And I think it could be a completely different video if we go into all the causes of immigration and why people are coming to this country, especially because the majority of our immigrants now are coming from South America. So Ecuador, Guatemala, all those, South American countries, that's where a lot of our immigrants are coming in now. So yeah, that can be a whole other topic talking about why that is. But the thing that I want to talk about today, because there's something about this topic that just really bugs me, and that is the lack of humanity when we have discussions around this topic. So, for example, if you've heard, people talk about, why they don't want immigrants coming in, a lot of the examples that they give is that, they say that a lot of illegal immigrants especially are criminals, and so they're bringing crime over here, they're trafficking drugs, they're fueling violence, they're taking away American jobs. And then you also have some people who even think that, if we continue to allow too many South American immigrants into this country, that pretty soon, we're just going to be speaking Spanish, we're not going to be American anymore, we're not going to have English. And so you do get kind of ridiculous arguments like that. And I just think, there's some credence to each of those things. I will say I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where we no longer speak English. That's just ridiculous. And in terms of the influx of Spanish speakers in this country, I consider that to be a plus, because there's lots of other countries where children grow up speaking 2, 3, 4, 5 different languages, and I think America is kind of behind when it comes to bringing up our children to where they can experience different cultures and languages. So I don't see that as a bad thing. But anyway, I do think that there is credence to each of those arguments. So I get it, and in terms of, addressing these issues, I don't want to be so naive as to think that, we should just give them everything and anything, because the fact is our resources are finite, right? As much as, we may want to give to these people, there's only so much we can do. But here's what really bugs me about this topic. You have a lot of people, and I don't want to say a lot of people on the right, but again, that's the generalization of, that's the idea that I get when I hear people discuss these issues. It's generally it tends to be more conservative people, right, who say things like, well, why should we help immigrants when they come to this country? We're Americans. We need to take care of Americans first. Let the governments of these other countries take care of their own people, and we take care of ours. So if any of you guys know who Ann Coulter is, she's a very famous conservative commentator. She's written all kinds of books and made lots of appearances. If you've ever watched her talk, that's one of the things that she says a lot. When she talks about immigration, she has very strong views on it, and that's her whole thing is, they're not our responsibility. People like her, they acknowledge the fact that, immigrants crossing into our country go on a very treacherous journey. I mean, you have parents with small children, and there are lots of people who are attacked violently, who are killed, raped, um, you know, all kinds of danger. I mean, they're crossing, desert terrain, no food, water. Lots of people die on the way. So they recognize that people make a very treacherous journey with children in tow, and yet, their whole thing is, well, we don't need to take care of them, just send them back, turn them away. You know, they don't seem to have any empathy when it comes to, children being separated from their parents. And I will make a quick note on this, even though I don't want to get into the too, nitty gritty of all these issues. But, whenever I've talked to someone about these issues, one thing that they say to me is, well, I don't get the big deal about children being separated from their parents. I mean, that's just part of it, and we have to make sure everyone's documented. And, you think about it, when people go to prison, they're separated from their families then, and I get it. I understand why that we have to, before we just let people loose in our country, we have to, document them and verify who they are. And we can't just put random children with random adults, So I understand that. However, I think something has to change. We have to maybe get better at documenting who these people are, so that, once they are verified and they're, we do have their identities, we can reunite them. Because, I don't think it's necessarily bad that we have to do that separation. I think to a certain extent that's part of the process. But the problem is that it's almost like the people running, that sector of it, aren't really paying that close attention, or maybe they don't care a whole lot, because the problem with that separation is that a lot of times those families cannot be reunited. They don't know where each other is. I mean, different people in the same family are getting sent to different places. They don't know where each other are, so you have a lot of kids who then become orphans, and then we have to try and find out what to do with them. Do they have other family members we can send them to? It's just a whole big mess. And so that's my biggest issue. This lack of empathy and this dehumanization that goes on when we talk about these topics. And again, I want to reiterate that I don't have a perfect solution. I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly what we need to do. Because again, as I said, I understand that our resources are finite. We cannot spend all the money that we have trying to take care of immigrants. But again, I truly do not understand the argument that, we have to take care of Americans and other countries have to take care of their people. Because why does it matter what country we're from? I mean, we're all human, right? We all experience sorrow and pain and happiness and joy and loss. I mean, we all have a collective experience as humanity. Why do we draw the line between us based on where we're from, and act as though, oh, well, these people are from a different country, therefore I have no, responsibility to them? I don't agree with that. I think just the fact that we're people, we all bear some level of responsibility for each other, regardless of language barriers, where we're from, our cultural backgrounds, whatever the case may be. And so, again, that's just the main point I want to make in this video. And, if you thought that we were going to be talking about all the issues that go into immigration, all the solutions, again, I can make a video maybe talking about some of those things more in detail. But this was just kind of my own personal rant about how, we just have to have more empathy. And I think that's something that we're really lacking, in our country today. You see it with the coronavirus, just this whole, as I said before, the sense of hyper-individualism that people have, only thinking about themselves and how things affect them and not thinking about other people. And that just has to stop, because this is something, again, that we see across the board, whether it be COVID or immigration. I mean, this is something that, it sounds extreme, but to me, it's very reminiscent of, when we still had slavery in this country. I mean, treating people the way that we're treating immigrants now is very reminiscent of the way that slaves were treated, in the sense that they were given no sense of even being human, as though they had no rights, as though America had no obligation towards them whatsoever. And, oh, well, they're suffering, but, whatever, they're a whole separate group and, set of beings, they're not our problem. And that just has to stop. So again, I don't know the perfect solution to immigration. I don't know, moving forward, the best way that we're going to be able to tackle this, but we have to bring humanity and empathy back into the equation. To just casually say, oh, well, these people are not our problem, and, if they want to be with their families, send all of them back. That's just not who we're supposed to be. And, again, there could be a whole other video talking about the way that immigrants are treated in this country who have integrated here. I just think the whole issue, I don't think we can find a solution until we start thinking about these people as real people who are not different from us in any way other than they're from a different part of the world and speak a different language. We can't even have a conversation about the best way to deal with immigration until we recognize that these people are human and they are the same, and we have to recognize their suffering as our own. So that's my whole little rant. Again, this is a complex issue. If you would like me to make another video explaining, or talking about other parts of immigration, just let me know. Again, there's a lot to be said. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. What are your thoughts? Do you guys have any ideas on, how we move forward with this topic? Any comments? Just let me know. Again, this is something that I still need to educate myself on, that I still want to learn more about. So if you guys have any ideas or just any comments, please let me know. And I will see you again in the next video. Have a great day.